Good, how are you? Good. What's your name? Maya. Gotcha. M-A-Y. Yeah. I'm here now. Yes. On his way. Okay, cool. So it'll be just yeah, that's right. Awesome. Great. Thank you so much for your dinner. You'll see.
We're really excited. Haha, I've been mic'd. I think the voice thing, it calms my nerves when I start off like deep because I did it at the Mari. It like brings me back up. But yes, thank y'all for being here. A lot of new faces, a lot of reoccurring faces. Thank y'all for choosing Rep Club on this Sunday morning. We are honored that you're here with us, with Angela, with Ashley, and Permission to Write. I'll go backwards. I'm Dougie. I'm the events manager here at Rep Club. We also got Jeremy on the team as well. So if you have any logistical needs or things that we can help with in our small space, whether that's the restroom or recommendations on books, please let us know. Angela will also be signing some stock after the conversation as well. We like to always say, please have your questions ready. If you didn't read it already, you're in for a treat. I won't talk too much about the book or Permission to Write because Ashley is going to eat that up for y'all. Yes, welcome to Rep Club. And please, if you need anything, please let us know. Thank y'all again.
Oh, thank you. Hey everybody. I'm Ashley. It's good to see all y'all. I was at Mara's event on Thursday and it was just like so beautiful to see so many black people in one space. And people just supporting books, right? Because I think we're in a time where people are saying like people don't read and that's just not true. So I am the founder and executive director of Permission to Write. So we're doing this book club in collaboration with Rep Club. I'm so excited that they have allowed us to kind of be in this space. Specifically, I'm an East Coaster, so I'm fairly new to LA, and just trying to establish Permission to Write's kind of in-person footprint because we have a 501c3 that works to actually support the voices of Black writers, centers the voice of Black writers, but all POC writers and authors, specifically through workshops, in-person classes. Davita's here. She's a part of our membership community, permission granted. And so we're kind of doing things on a regular basis to talk about not only great stories and great writers like Angela, but also helping other writers to cultivate their own voice. So part of the onus behind this particular book club is yes, we want to talk about the things we love about the book, but we also want to really dissect it from a writer's lens, right? And so I think whether you're a reader or a writer, you'll get something out of this today. But we specifically wanted to kind of say, yes, this is a great memoir, but also like tell us about the choices that you made in approaching it. So that is really the onus behind it. So I will stop talking and start to read Angela's bio. And I feel like I would be remiss. I'm so sorry. I'm an author too. And so I would be remiss not to talk about my book, Good Morning Love, which is a romance. So also an author, which is why this space is so important to me. I was telling Angela backstage, like, selling books is hard. And if we can get somebody to sell like 5 more books because of the infrastructure that we're supporting, then that's like really what my heart's desire is, right? Is to create platforms for people to discover these great stories, because I know how hard it is to sell books. You really sell them one by one. So definitely check that out. If you're into romance, you can order it online from Rep Club, to continue to support them. And I would be remiss not to shout out some of our online watchers. So we're really excited to be streaming this, because, of course, we have members from across the country that really, really wanted to be here for the conversation. So without further ado, I'm going to read a little from Angela's bio before she comes out and we jump into the discussion. So Angela Nissel is the award-winning author of 3 books, including the national best-selling memoir, The Broke Diaries, and her latest, Good Grief, Pass the Bread, Mom is Dead, which was named one of Essence' most anticipated books of 2026. Her work has been praised as fiercely honest, deeply moving, and laugh out loud funny, often all at once. If you have read the book already, you probably laughed and cried within the same paragraph. um, she has appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show, Today Show, and several late night talk shows, bringing her signature humor and candor to a national audience. Before blogging had a name, Angela was documenting her broke college life online, stories that would eventually become the book The Broke Diaries, helping to define a new voice in personal storytelling. She also co-founded OK Player alongside Questlove, helping build one of the internet's earliest and most influential music and culture communities. Angela seamlessly translated her distinct voice to television, launching her Hollywood career on Scrubs in 2002. Over the past 2 decades, she has written and produced on a wide range of acclaimed series, including Scrubs, The Boondocks, and Jenny in Georgia, earning a reputation for blending sharp humor with emotional depth. Born and raised in Philly, I'm also from Philly, so shout out 215. Angela still carries that energy with her, whether she's covered in dog hair at home or digging through bins at thrift stores looking for a bargain. So without further ado, we want to welcome in Angela Nissel.
Hey, y'all. Hi, all y'all. Like, I just want to hug y'all one by one for coming out. This is so dope. Thank you. Hey,
Ashley. Hey. First of all, can we talk about this jumpsuit? It's so cute.
Thank you.
So, first of all, I just want to say thank you for writing this book, because, like, whether we know it or not, like, these stories are, like, extremely important, and I don't think we're hearing from Black authors enough about grief, specifically in our communities, because I think all cultures are experiencing grief and death in a different way. So thank you for sharing your story with us. That's the first part.
Thank you.
But jumping in, we got to talk about this title. Okay, so when I read the title, I don't know if it's me, but it immediately kind of makes me think like, good grief, pass the bread, mom is dead, good thing. And so, but it's the complete opposite of the gentle, loving, like, story that you actually told. So can you tell me a little bit about the title and how you came up with that?
I specifically wanted to use the word dead in the title because after my mom died, I was 35, and most people my age still had their mom. And I remember I was dating a new guy after my mom had passed the first Christmas, and his parents were like, why is she at our house? Like, don't she got family? So they were trying to poke around. And I remember somebody saying, oh, why aren't you at your house for Christmas? And I said, my mom's dead. And then everyone, you think I shot Santa Claus, it's like, and I just bought the room down. So then I just said, could someone pass the bread and so then I was like, I just made a damn rap about my mom dying. Like, pass the bread, my mom is dead. Like, what am I doing? What is my life right now? Right. So I wanted to make people say, what is this? And also just kind of give love to how those of us going through grief are forced to navigate around other people's feelings about dying. Like, we try to protect them. We're the ones hurting. Like, so that's what I was trying to do.
No, that is so major. Like, I think, like, specifically, and I think that's the importance of talking about grief, because I think everybody handles it differently. But what I really love is for people to talk to me about the person who passed.
Yes.
Because I feel like so often people kind of like shy away from it. And I'm like, no, tell me their memories. Like, tell me what you love about them. Tell me what's happening, what's great, So I feel like memoir, specifically as a medium, like, you've done Broke Diaries, you've done Mixed, like, tell me what draws you to memoir specifically as a medium to kind of express yourself.
I remember reading Asha Bandales. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. The Prisoner's Wife. And I thought reading this, wow, like she was so honest. This is more than I know about some of my friends, you know? And I just thought, what courage, because, and I think I read it in my early 20s. And I just remember thinking I had to be perfect. And I was like, she married a dude in prison. Like, you know, it was just like, just blown away by her honesty. And I thought, I want more of that in my life. And just, and especially now with social media, that's why I decided to write another one, because social media makes me feel like hell, I'm gonna be honest. Like, it really does. And I just said, and so much of it, at least for me and in my industry, is about showing people that you're doing good so that they'll think you're doing good and they'll want you to come do good with them. And it's like, ugh. So I wanted to just be honest and get people around me to be like, girl, my life is fucked up too.
Right,
and that's what has happened. And it's so freeing. And I just feel like when we start telling the truth, we enable other people to tell the truth. And we can put down this curated life we're all forced to lead to make money under capitalism.
Can you talk a little bit about, like, I think like most writers would think like they only get one memoir. So like, can you talk a little bit about that? Like, I guess like what makes memoir different than like maybe autobiographical? Because most people probably feel like you get this one memoir where you've written three in the same medium. So like, how did you feel like people want to hear from me more than once?
You know what? I got to thank my mom for that. Because my mom, for people who haven't read the book or read any of my books, my mom was a Black woman born in West Philly who volunteered for the Black Panthers, then married a white guy she claimed she thought was light-skinned. Tried to hide that fact when they divorced and she started dating. I'm like, Mom, why are all my pictures down? You know, like, she was like, well, I don't want nobody to know, you know, they're going to judge me. And I was like, I am so light. And you like, it's literally like, there's no hiding it. And so the way she raised me, and I know a lot of our parents raised us with these secrets. And so it's like uncovering all these secrets as I get older. I'm like, Mom, thanks for giving me something else to write about. And literally, sometimes when you write a memoir, you don't have to write the whole thing like you have to do in fiction when you're submitting a proposal. Because damn, that's hard. So I'm like, how can I turn my real life into something I only have to write a proposal for, instead of when the rejections come up, like, oh, at least it was only 40 pages, then 250.
Yeah, I'm gonna cry because I am a fiction writer.
Oh, girl, like, oh my God.
With multiple manuscripts just collecting dust at the moment. But that's funny that you bring that up, because that was one of the things we were going to ask. Because, you know, again, kind of looking through the lens of a writer. So you sold this book on proposal and didn't have to write the whole thing. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Because a lot of times, for those of you who might be interested in writing memoir, a lot of times memoir can kind of be looked at as fiction. Because you kind of have this protagonist who's going through a character arc and things like that. So it really kind of depends whether you have to actually do a full memoir or on proposal. But I'm sure when you're as seasoned as Angela, as a writer, people are like, we'll take it on proposal because we know it's going to happen.
I didn't know that's why they don't, because sometimes they think that's right. I always remember reading about Little Kim's memoir that never came out. And I was like, oh, they just gave her money when she wrote a proposal. So I guess they're like, okay, we can't do that anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. So it really just depends. So I guess like jumping into a big discussion for us as a group, because outside of the lovely folks that are here today, we also have online members who we've been emailing weekly about the book, right? And so we dive into different things, different aspects. And so a big discussion for us was prologues and their functions. So what made you start there instead of chapter 1? Because I literally just saw an agent this morning be like, if you have a prologue, delete it.
Wow.
So what made you make that choice?
Because I thought, one, I knew the title was not going to explain what the book was. And so I thought, even for me, when you're writing about your life and you're figuring out what's the main story here, for me, the prologue was a chance to tell people whether you want to read the rest of the book or not. You know, it kind of lays out, like, if you can't guess from the title, my mom died. But just that I wanted people to see the type of humor I'm going to be using, and also whether they can handle it, because I'm not sure whether I could read this book like 5 days after my mom died. I'd be like, fuck her. Like, you know, this stuff ain't funny. It's hard. But I just wanted to set the tone and tell people what to expect.
Yeah. I did find though that I did want to send it to everybody that I know has experienced like loss recently. Like I know we recently lost like my mother-in-law last year. And so it did feel like even though it was close, I felt seen in it. And I think that's the important part. But like you said, maybe people need a couple months before they want to feel that scene about grief. But yeah, some of the things that you get into, you're like, even when you talked about kind of having a whole space for other people.
Yes.
You know, you're like, this thing happened to me.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like I've been hearing that more and more, like, wow, I feel seen. And just the logistics of losing someone and carrying out their last wishes. Like my mom couldn't swim, but she wanted to be buried at sea so she could finally swim, I guess, right? And so I thought, I'm gonna just do like they do in movies and take her ashes to the beach. Why did these two ladies side-eye me? And I was like, I get why you're side-eye. I have a bag of ashes. It looks like I'm just and then I decided to look it up on my phone. And it's illegal. Who knew, right? But then I thought about it. I was like, yeah, if I'm building a sandcastle, I don't really want your mom flying into my kid's sandcastle. So just the things you have to learn the hard way because we don't talk about these things. Like, I'm sure some of my friends have had people who wanted to be buried at sea, and they have to tell me things like, you got to be able to afford a boat. Right. So it's like, and then you try to do it real slick. I left this out of the book. On a party boat. Because I didn't want to pay to rent a whole boat. So yeah, stuff like that we never talk about.
No, we don't. And you do it in such a humorous way. Like the humor is immediate. So I literally thought I would die when you wrote, "Stop, y'all scaring the pigeons" when the family was fighting. And I just thought, like, oh my gosh. But is it a coping mechanism or device or both?
She sent some good questions. Like I'm talking about questions where I had to be like, damn, I said that? Like, oh wow. It's in my life, it's definitely both. And I'll say it's coming from a mom who didn't talk. You know, I stayed in a kid's place. We didn't have deep emotional conversations. And the way I could sometimes get her to open up was with laughter. But also just the world we live in, when we really stop and look around, it's like, it's funny. It's like, really, we're all supposed to just go to work and drink coffee and then just like, what is the purpose of it? And when you think about things like death, how Discover Card and MasterCard, they kept going on once she died, and all these things we worry about aren't really important. I'm like, you just can't take too much of this stuff seriously. And for me, it has been the best thing in getting my mental health together, to just look around and be like, everything's crazy instead of just me.
No, everything is crazy.
Yes.
You do such a good job with place, right? So, of course, in the book, you're kind of back and forth between Philadelphia and also California. And on page 34, you have this really kind of like moving paragraph because you're talking about Los Angeles, but through your mom's eyes.
Yes, yes.
So can you talk a little bit about how you manage place and maybe even the decision to not be talking about Los Angeles from your perspective, but how she saw it?
Because I wanted people, specifically people raised by Black women, to feel themselves. And my mom, when I think about the fact, like, Mom, you went through the civil rights movement. You were down there on buses. You were there on Bloody Sunday. You were raised in West Philly. I remember when we moved to a certain part of Philly, the KKK was blocks from our house. But yet, we watched Boys in the Hood together, and you thought I was going to get shot. Once I moved out, like, she literally removed all my red and blue clothes. Like, oh God, you know, it's like, besides the fact that that was the 90s, and I didn't move in the 90s, but it was just like, her fears for me as a woman were so specific and crazy compared to what she went through. And so I feel like a lot of our moms are these overprotective. My baby is, most of our moms, at least in my family, didn't move far from their parents. So here I go, Los Angeles. Oh God, I raised her wrong. Like, you know, so it was loving someone who seems to always be afraid for you whenever you do something. Like, oh God, I thought I raised her well as a Black woman, but obviously not. You know, that's how my mom was. Like, oh, I told you things are going to be harder for you. Why would you go to a place where you know nobody when your family's right here? Yeah. And so for her, that was, she always thought she made a mistake. Yeah, it's true.
Philly is an interesting place because, like, although my mom was supportive of me moving to LA, she literally said, "We don't move." Like people like kind of like the implication was like people like us don't move. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that is like it's interesting because Philly is kind of this big town, small
Yes.
city, like or like big city, small town kind of
Yes,
vibe, right?
yes.
There's a lot going on, but it still has sometimes like a small town vibe where people don't leave
At all. Like,
Yeah.
and it really, I remember part of my family moved to Jersey and we were like, oh, they think they're better than everybody. Their house is not a row home. You know, it was just like, oh, they don't want to be around the family. I would be interested to see what about Philly makes it like that.
Yeah, it's very interesting. You start out this book, and we know it happens, right? You said my mom is dead, right? So we know it happens, but you have this great approach to like foreshadowing and intention. Still, we still want to know kind of like how it unfolds, and so when you like, we're still in it with you, kind of like as it's unfolding. And so on like page 76, you had, I curled up beside her, certain that we'd gotten through the hardest parts and that both of our lives were about to change for the better. And I wanted to hug you. I wanted to be like, oh, Angela, this is gonna be rough. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so can you talk about like, did it feel natural for you just in kind of recounting the story? Because this is where you were at that moment. You were hoping for the best. Or when you kind of looked at the book, did you start to say, okay, I can kind of like create this tension here? Or like, I don't know, is it intentional or does it feel innate how to kind of really create the tension? Because that's what keeps us reading, honestly, whether it's memoir or fiction.
I think whenever I used to go to writers groups, they used to overcomplicate things. Like, what do you do at the end of the chapter? And in TV, we tend to complicate everything. Like, make it a universal story. What is a universal story? It's one where people feel emotions that no matter if you're in Botswana or in LA, you resonate with. So I always just think, what do I want people to leave the end of this chapter feeling? And if you write it exactly that makes someone say, I want to hug you, then I've done my job, you know? And it's like, I don't need to think about, did I foreshadow enough? Because I wanted people to be like, wow, she really thought that she could save her mom's life. And I did. So for me, the answer to every question when we talk about craft is emotion. And we get so caught up in prologues and how many word counts and like it's just make people feel.
Yeah. I really appreciate that because I'm in this like second book hell of like, you write a book and you feel all those things. You're like, I just wrote the book and da da da. But then you're looking for a different result. So now you're in your head about how to approach the work to like get to the next thing. So I just really appreciate that kind of like, we have all these rules, but until you break them, right? Until you have the prologue or you don't have the prologue and someone's like, this is the greatest thing I've ever read.
Exactly. It's just like, is somebody feeling it, you know? And that's the same thing with music. And I just sit and think, why do I like certain songs? Why do I like, it comes back to emotion. And when you're writing a book, everyone will be in your ear overcomplicating everything. It's like, are people feeling something?
Right. That's good. You talked a little bit about universal truth. And so I guess when we talk about that, well, I guess one of the things I'll start with is like, why are all of our parents the same?
No.
Because the way I was reading your book and remembered that my grandmother came home with like one breast and was like, yeah, I had breast cancer, but it's good now. And I remember my mom telling me that story and being like, what? People don't share at all. So, I mean, I guess like for you, it wasn't about like, oh, I'm going to tell this story and people are going to relate. It was just sharing the emotion because writers do talk a lot about universal truth, especially when it comes to memoir and kind of like, okay, it's your story, but how are people going to relate to it?
And here's the thing. I didn't know that has anybody in here had a family member hide something from them? Like, y'all, I didn't know. I really thought it was just my mom. Like, I really, really did. And that was what made me want to start writing it, because I thought, why did my mom do this? And every place I go, people are like, mine did too, or my grandmom, or somebody. And I would never do that. Let me get breast cancer. Y'all are going to be treating me like a queen. Like, do you think it's a generational thing? Or?
I think so, for sure. And I think there's a certain level of like vulnerability. Like my dad was having a health battle last year, and like they didn't even want people to come see him, and it was trying to convince them of like, hey, this could go one or two ways, right? And like if you don't let people see him and then it goes a bad way,
Woo.
then what does that mean? But then I find myself trying to resolve like HIPAA. It's also their business if they want to share it with you or not, which is kind of hard, right? Like
you just hit something deep there when you said vulnerability, because my mom and a lot of moms in the generation before mine never got shit from being vulnerable with somebody, you know?
Right.
Never was rewarded. So, and I never really stopped to think about that. And that could be part of the reason why nobody cares, you know? Just people gonna be like, can you still go to work? Well, then, you know, wow. No, that was deep.
Well, my dad was a police officer.
Oh, wow.
So that comes with a superhero complex. That if you're really down, then you don't want people to see you like that.
Woo.
So it's like rough.
All these masks we gotta wear in life. And I think that's why I like memoir too, because I get to just strip it off, but then I'm looking around the room like, y'all know way too much about me.
I know, look, we family now.
For real.
So I guess like speaking of vulnerability, you have this moment, I'm opening up to page 71, where you have this passage that says, admitting my mom may never return to Philadelphia felt like admitting that the hope I had for her cancer to go into remission or to be cured was another lie on top of all of the little ones that carried us to the airport. Can you just talk about the vulnerability to show the denial? And did you know it in the moment that you were kind of having, like, you might have just been like, I'm feeling optimistic, or did it come through in the reflection of writing the book?
I think both. I think I was in denial about the denial, because to me, telling my mom said, you know, I'm gonna die soon. Being a good daughter meant saying, oh hell no, you're not. You know, what am I supposed to say? Okay, let's just sit here and wait for it to happen. You know, it's but I knew in the back of my mind, just like I knew my marriage was over before I said it, you know, like that I can't, she's a nurse. She knows if she's going to die, you know, and it's also another one of those masks perhaps where I wanted to be the good daughter. Your mom told you she's going to die. What are you doing? I'm taking her to see the best doctors in LA, like Cedars-Sinai, where the rich people go. And I guess to answer your question, it's a bit of both. And I was just so surprised. We talk about the airport, and I still get mad going to an airport to this day with that stupid rule. The person who left it there has to come back and get it if it's a cane. Like, because you can't walk back to, like, it's like saying the person has to come back and get a wheelchair. Like, they can't come back and get it. So I just thought that people would show a little more grace for the disabled, for people being sick. And another one of those things that you're like, is so stupid. I understand that a supervisor could get fired for breaking the rule. But in my life now, if there's a rule I can get fired for that is hurting someone, y'all, I'm breaking it. You know, and so it's just the lack of bend we have in our society for people in their different circumstances. And I think that moment broke me, because it was an example of, I'm doing all this, and this one little rule can't be broken for my mom who's dying, you know? And I felt like I needed a shirt that said, please be nice, she's dying. And if I had worn that, maybe the giving the cane back. Oh God, yeah.
That was like, there were multiple people in this book I wanted to fight. I gotta be honest. The TSA agent was one of them. Absolutely. Reverend Bill. Somebody said Bill. Multiple people. But as much as you're telling us about the story of what happened to your mom, there's also an internal arc happening, right, within this story. And so in page 81, you say, besides finally having her all to myself, She was also given my life purpose, a reason that I could accept as to why I had little else to look after.
I'm sorry, I keep over there in the screen. She didn't read the part. I'm sorry.
No,
For people watching on the live stream, like, I missed that.
No. You're good. You're good. But it was this revelation, right? And we kind of get those throughout the story. And, you know, I feel bad. I don't want to make everything technical.
No.
Because a lot of this is just like you write and start to get a feel for it. But like, how do you think about balancing exterior and interior? It's something I think a lot about as a fiction writer specifically, because whatever, just personal development. Sometimes I'm not as focused on the interior, what the character is going through as they're going through the motions, right? And so it was interesting for me to see in your memoir that yes, we're doing all the things. We're flying mom to LA, we're trying to take care of her, but there was also this really beautiful arc happening in your own story as well. So can you talk about that and how that kind of came to be, or how you think about it?
Let me say the technical is important. I just think sometimes people, and especially once you start selling your book, will start talking to you in these technical words that you're like, but did you like it? You know, and I think that overshadows sometimes.
Yeah.
And so, wow, yeah, I think for me, interior versus exterior, in a memoir, and maybe this helps with fiction too, I'm thinking, would I be afraid to admit this to strangers? If the answer is yes, then there's something there, you know, that I should, because then it turns out that more people are like, yeah, I feel that way too. I just can't say it because I lose my job or something. And so it's, if I am afraid to say it, or if I feel like people may not get why I did this action, you know, like, to be honest, if my life was going swimmingly when my mom told me she had died, my first thought, and this is, again, it's embarrassing to ask, like, damn, now? Like, you know, not in like an external way, but I finally have everything I want, because my mom raised me to be very career oriented. Like, we couldn't get every job when I was growing up, so you go out there and get it. And that was how I made her proud. But for me, this whole taking care of her, when I had her with me, I thought, I care about none of this. Y'all could be talking about me on social media. Y'all could be saying, literally, all of Hollywood could have been like, we're never hiring Angela again. I don't care. Like, you know, and it made me really realize what was important, and made me realize what she never got was to slow down and just enjoy life and have someone take care of her. And so for me, I thought, I want to say I don't care about my job or anything else in print, you know, but I feel like so many people out here in Hollywood really do. They make it their whole identity. And I was warned about saying things like that, because you act like you don't want to work. I don't.
I had to look at my husband, because I'm like, I have also uttered those words. Like, I'm like, working for money is ghetto. Right? Why do we have to do this? So as a screenwriter, is there anything that you're using from that world when it comes to memoir, or anything you're trying to like avoid? Like, this is just for screenwriting. This doesn't work in literature.
Screenwriting taught me so much more about getting rid of things that aren't necessary, killing your babies. Because in TV writing, I don't know if people know this, we give up our copyright, meaning once you hand it over to the studio, Disney's like, oh no, that will offend an advertiser. I have watched things I've written on TV and been like, I didn't say that, you know, but they have final say because they're the big billion-dollar corporation. And so also just getting to when I started TV, we make a joke. Scrubs had a whole intro back when we had real songs that tell you what the show was about. By the time I left Scrubs, we literally, it was, there's Scrubs, you know, because they wanted to cut down, have more commercials, you know, fit more commercials in. And so sitting in a room, figuring out what is really necessary to keep people hooked was the best thing for my book writing. So I read just as many books as I watched TV when I was writing this book, because I thought, how did they get me to care about that character in 10 minutes? And what shows don't? Like, I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. And what's the difference? And again, I think it comes down to honesty. And why do I care about you? Emotional honesty. And so, yeah, it really, I would urge everyone, keep buying books, but write TV and think, what did they probably leave out?
That's good. What did you read while you were working on this book?
Oh my God. I started, reading a lot of little books about grief, and then that depressed the hell out of me. But then I didn't really change my reading habits. I just read what I liked to read.
Okay.
But also making note of, she's kind of losing me right here. Oh, I can't put this down. And I used to not do this. I used to stop reading books when I wrote books because I was scared I was going to accidentally take something. No, that never happened. It's like, but just reading and being like, why this? Hopefully this is going to pay off later, because this is a long thing about a mouse or something. And then when it does pay off, you're like, okay, I see that. And just certain writers can hook you and certain ones don't. You feel like you're fighting because I paid for this, I'm gonna finish it. And just really studying how they did or didn't capture your attention.
Yeah, that's good. That's
Yeah.
why we're reading like writers, so that you too can write your book. The book feels like it's in 4 parts, like before you knew, after you knew, getting her to LA, and the aftermath. Did you approach it in that way? Do you outline? Did you just start writing?
That's why the proposal is good for writers like me, because I've met so many people who are like, I just write off vibes. And usually when I'm writing, I'm like, I don't want to outline. Who cares? Like, it's just, let's see what comes. But when you write a proposal, and I would say even for a fiction book, you have to show them where the book is going to go, that there's a beginning, middle, and an end. And I really wanted my mom dying to be the center point, because it's a memoir and it's inevitably about me and how I changed my view on death and life and my own life and what's important. And so I thought, I want people to feel punched in the chest by my mom's death the same way I did, because it's like you travel 3,000 miles, you do all this, you're promising her that she's going to live, and no, she doesn't. And so I really wanted it to hit people right dead in the center. So I figured out the center first and then worked back where I want to end and where I want to begin.
Oh, that's good, because my heart did drop when it was like, we did all this work to get her to LA. And I know what kind of work that is, because it took me a while to get my mom to visit.
Yes,
right? Like, it was just like, please visit me. And so, yeah, you absolutely create that good middle point, because I thought it would be longer.
Wow.
I thought we were going to get longer with her.
I love that you said that, because yes, I thought I was going to get longer. I didn't bring you out here for you to die. Like,
Exactly.
and no one was honest with me. That's another thing. Until I had, thank God for overworked hospice nurses, this lady was just so tired of me keeping up hope alive. She was like, girl, your mom is dying. Like,
but I love that you were like, fuck you.
Yeah. Because like, you think in everyday life, if you told someone your mom's dying, like, it just sounds so rude, but it was the truth. But from doctors to her nurse friends to why are you sending somebody get well cards? Like, I would hold on to everything as hope. Her friend sent her a get well card, and her friend's a nurse. She must be able to get well. Like, I took everything so literally. Like, that's a sign.
Yeah.
No, it's just the only card. There's no, I'm sorry you're dying cards. Like, there's not. So it's like, what are you supposed to say? Get well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Oh. So I feel like I have a couple more questions, and then I want you all to be thinking of your questions, because, I wanted to feel conversational. But, I feel like grief is ongoing, right? It never, time does not heal the wound. You just get further, and you're like, I wish my mom was here for this.
Yes.
But can you talk about like how you knew to end the book?
How I knew to end it. And I took I started writing it about 13 years after my mom passed. And I looked at the person I was at 35 versus 48 and a half when I started writing it. And I thought, I like this person better, and I hope that people don't have to go through someone dying to figure out what's really important in life. And have I figured out what's important in my life? Do I always follow that rule? Like, but no, but I really just thought, do I like myself, and will my mom be proud of who I am? And she would, and I didn't want to write another book, because my first 2 books, she'd have been right in the audience, like, don't you read that part out loud. And I just thought, would she be proud of the entire thing? But mostly I wanted to show her, like, I wish my mom could be here to see the woman I've become. And so I wanted to give her that in a way. Like, if she's still listening, you did good. Part of the book, if she had known, and I think she knew that I was unemployed and going to shovel horse dew every day and coming back like, whew, work was hard, Mom. I think that she would still be proud. But when she was alive, that would have been the most embarrassing thing. My daughter doesn't have a job, And so I wanted to convince myself too that that's not what's important. It's the love that I gave her.
And I feel like you're touching on it a little bit, but I have to highlight on page 94 how you ask, how could I live without a mother?
Yeah, man.
Because it just, even still having my mom, knowing she's aging is like one of the scariest things ever to me. And when you ask that question, gosh, I think that's what a lot of people are asking themselves. So how has that been panning out for you?
It has been, when you said you think like that about your mom, I think one of the things I wish I had done, especially when I moved to LA, was spend more time with her. The reason that I felt like, how can I live without a mom, is because, again, I was so busy trying to impress her and let her know she raised me right instead of just being there, But her first question would always be, how's work, honey? So it's, oh my God, now you got to go back and say the exact question again. Hold on.
No. So how has that been panning out for you? Having to live without a mother.
I don't know if I would have written this book if I had known that I had to revisit grief all over again. And I always tell anyone when they come up to me and you're writing about grief, take my email address, because I'm sitting in my living room just crying like this was the dumbest thing ever. And I realized that I thought I was through with it. I can laugh at certain parts, but God, no, thinking about her life and all the things she hid from me and all the things she went through, just being a Black woman being born in 1946, it made me want to hug her all over again and be like, you should be living a life of luxury. Why did you allow people to treat you like this? But I had to get to a place where I was like, you're not supposed to be exactly like your mother. You're supposed to evolve. You're supposed to be your ancestors' wildest dream. And I need to redefine that from having the best job to now I have a grandson, to being the best grandmom, which is something she wanted to do before she passed. And so it's like, grief for me during this book was a process of redefining myself and becoming okay with not being her wildest dream in the way that she wanted, but showing her that emotionally and freedomly, I am her wildest dream.
Well, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. You published your mom's poem.
Oh, yeah.
How did you decide what to share?
Girl, now this is one of those things where you're like, yeah, there is an afterlife. There's something. And I'm so certain of this. I'm more certain of this than I am of a lot of things in my life. Just going through the process and seeing her pass. So my mom hid all her poems from me, and she never showed me she wanted to be a writer, because that's not what a Black woman could do to make money. She had to go to nursing school. And so she wrote a couple when she was in my house. And she had things that she was trying to remember, or like, here's where I have an insurance policy that Bill didn't get to yet, and things. And I opened up the book while I'm writing it, just because I didn't want anybody in Bill's family. HarperCollins was very afraid someone was going to sue me. So I wanted to have receipts for everything. And I found the poem in there. The first edition of the book, the first one I handed in, did not have the poem. And I thought, literally between something that said, tell Miss Doretha to buy greens for Sunday for church because I'm not going to be there, was this poem. And I thought, wow, she wrote this in my house. She wanted me to find it. Perhaps she wanted her work to be seen. And that's how I think about it. It could have been like, damn, I forgot to throw that one out. But, it's I'm proud of her. And I wanted her, in whatever form she's in right now, to know that I think she's talented and that she could have. But if she was too shy, too bad, because you got a daughter who's a heathen. And I'm going to show everyone how brilliant you are.
And who did it anyway.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful to hear that story, because in the book, you are looking for these signs. And you're like, well, she didn't come visit me, or she's not in a feather, or like all these other things that people said. And so it's really kind of full circle for you to get that moment of like even finding the poem.
And here's the thing about signs too. I'm the type person, at least I was, I didn't have any patience. You know, if you are up there in heaven, you know you can send a flower today, right now, because I got to go to work. You know, and so it's like when you stop and breathe and just take the time to look around and enjoy your friends and just live life, that's when they start coming, at least for me.
Yeah.
Before I was just mad because everybody else got one. You
Right,
know?
right.
So,
Exactly.
yeah.
So tell me, my last question is just, what haven't you been asked about the book that you would want to share, or is there a passage you would want to read?
I'm gonna be honest, every single question you've asked me, I have not been asked about the book. Like, these are some good questions. You know, it's I really had to think, like, the process of ongoing grief. And why did I put things where I put them? I thought I had to go back and read my own book. Your questions were amazing. So just shout out to you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, I guess this is the perfect time to turn it over to you all then for questions. So does anyone have a question? And I'm going to hand you this mic because if there's people watching, we want to make sure they can hear your question too. So.
Hi, happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
My question is a bit craft and a bit getting in your business. So from the craft standpoint, in all the memoir classes, they're like, your theme has to be persistent, your theme, but you can't like just state it over and over. But I felt like with the book, I felt your theme of I want to be this good daughter like resonated a lot. It showed up consistently and repeatedly, but it wasn't like beating me over the head with that. Was that intentional from the proposal? And then the personal question is, now that you've had some time and space, do you realize you were a great daughter?
Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
Yo, I'm just going to say, from my point of view, looking at you and your shirt while you asked this question, you just made me almost want to cry, and then I'm reading your shirt. Don't settle for no fuck shit. All the emotions are coming through. No, it's good. It's great. I love that. Whew. I did not know that was going to be the theme. God, that's another one of those things that I wish people wouldn't say, like, find your theme, write the messy part, and the theme will reveal itself, because I didn't, but I thought it is that I want to be a good daughter. I want to make her proud. But that wasn't clear to me until I had written 100 pages too much and needed to strip away some. What's the heart of this story? And then what was your second question again?
Do you now realize?
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that was the one that got me. Oh, God. I don't know, because I'll be honest. I'm like, would a good daughter have dragged her mom across the country? Yeah?
I think so, because the way she went with you, she needed that reprieve from this kind of prison that she.
Oh, God.
I don't think she would have went from reading, and I don't know your mom.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, same. I don't know.
Everything happened. When y'all say y'all wanted to fight people in the book and Reverend Bill, I'm like, my brother fought Reverend Bill. Thank God, you know, and because he was, to me, just as bad as a physical abuser. He was emotionally abusive. And my mom, another thing about my mom, she thought because of her complexion, she was ugly all the time. And she would let men treat her any certain way because she's lucky to have some. Oh, yeah, you know, and it's, she always used to tell me, at least it'll be better for you because you're lighter. And I just thought, why do you put up with this? You know, and he took advantage of that, my mom's low self-esteem. But she had never experienced real unconditional love from a man. And so I remember going home and telling her, I don't think he's very nice. He's doing the best he can. Ooh, you know?
Yeah.
So I am so glad that my brother shoved that man in the closet, you know, because I did get to show her. I remember her sitting on my patio outside in LA, and she just loved being in LA because she would not drive in the city. So all she could do was sit and be like, y'all got trees, you know, and listening to the birds. And she said, and I put this in the book, I think I'm going to stay here. And I thought, she's in prison now, but in my house with a backyard, you know, in a different way, just because she won't drive.
Right.
And she was happy.
Yeah.
So I do think I was a good daughter, but I do second guess it, because it's like, if I were to tell someone that I was dying, what would I want them to do?
Mm-hmm.
And if honestly, okay, yeah, if I was in that relationship, take me away. You know,
Take me away.
Thank you for that question. Thank you for making me think about that.
That's such a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Hi, Angela.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We connected online.
Oh, wow. Oh,
And you
hi.
were like, make sure I introduce myself
Yes,
to you.
yes.
So I'm Shiante, and I actually stand in the gap as a high-risk breast cancer patient
Okay.
and also a breast surgical oncology nurse practitioner. So reading this book, the first 8 pages, my best friend of 23 years, I was like, you need to get this book, and we need to read this together. And so she's more audible. She's such a busy person, and she and I both were like, we don't like Bill. Then she's like, wait, this water thing, did you learn this in nursing school? And I was like, hell no. But by page 8, I'm laughing, I'm crying, I'm seeing your story from like this different perspective, you know. But I guess my comment and question revolves around the generational secrets. It's also systemic as well because of how our bodies have been treated over generations. And something that I see often, especially with the type of breast cancer your mom had, triple negative, affects Black women at a much higher rate. We die at 40% rate, even though white women, Asian women are diagnosed at a much higher rate. What I see is there's a screening avoidance.
Ooh,
And talking about the vulnerability piece, it also has to do with like shame of what happened to you in childhood, which I was just talking to Mara about last on Thursday with her book. Oftentimes, if someone has been exposed to some type of sexual act that delays their neuroendocrine access, they don't want people to undress them. They don't want to be touched, let alone have a mammogram when they need one. And as a high-risk patient, I have 5 people in my family. 2 have already passed with the disease and 4 of my aunts with it. And so my question is, not just generationally, but systemically, given the history of your mom, have you been screened? You know, or do you have kind of like this myth around like the healthcare system? Because that big cancer binder had me cracking up. I'll spend an hour with the patient just answering questions, but sincerely wanting to know in this grief process, how has it been for you? And if it's too personal,
no, it's such a good question, because I feel like we need to, as friends and girlfriends, be like, girl, are you getting your screenings? You know, and I'm at the high risk breast cancer center, and I have to drive all the way to Santa Monica. And that's the hardest part about it, is driving to Santa Monica. But I feel I wouldn't be doing her justice if I were to have it and not get it as soon as possible. I hate the mammograms. I hate having dense breasts and having somebody rub jelly on them and do it. But yeah, I don't. And again, if I had it, I'm telling everybody, like, because I'm not going into work. If I can, you know, I'm doing all the things. My mom went to work with stage 4 cancer, like, and hid it from everyone and was worried about leaving it. No, I want to treat my body better than my mom treated hers. And as long as I have health insurance, I'm going to do it. And I can't write a book like this and not be an example and tell people, no, I don't care. Like, no, you know, and seeing how many, when you DM'd me and I was like, oh, somebody in oncology is liking the book, that made my heart sing, because I've always wanted to talk to people in the health fields. How do we get over this fear? How do we get through to a community that has been treated just mostly for the history of this country, bought and sold? It's been property, not their own personal property. So that is really important to me. And I have to do this because I have nieces and nephews and a grandson, and people need to see that, yeah, this healthcare industry might not have our best interests at heart, but we got to do the best we can under these circumstances. So yeah, I hate it, but I do it.
Thank you for this gift. It was really a gift.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Hey, lady. Yeah, I'm good. You look beautiful, by the way.
Thank you. You look wonderful too.
Thank you.
Is this someone?
Yeah. It's not in the space.
I'm not a mic girl. Hi, Angela. So wonderful to see you after so many years.
Oh my
It's
God.
so exciting. So my question is about process. So when I think about you as a writer, and when I think about all the different mediums that you write in, from screen to blogging and OK Player stuff, and then memoir, I wonder how you're able to balance out um, the multiple projects and the multiple mediums while staying focused in and upon so much delicate work like this?
Whew, that is a good question that I didn't figure out how to do until this book. Because again, I like having health insurance, so I wanted to, and writing books usually don't give you health insurance, so I had to keep the day job to write this. And I would read this tip all the time and think, I can't do this. Section up your day as if you have a schedule with someone. No, really, like write down, for 1 hour, I'm going to write book today. For this hour, I'm going to focus on this other work I have to do. And I made it like I had a date with a friend. I wouldn't tell a friend, I'm not coming at the last minute, so I would sit down. And one other thing I also did was make actual dates with friends, other writer friends. We are not going to talk. We are just going to sit and write. And that helped immensely. Looking over and seeing somebody else getting their stuff done, like, I'm not going to be here getting nothing done. And that, to me, helped me move on to the putting things in my schedule. Like, okay, today I'm going to do this. But I started off just meeting with friends and writing with them. And leaving work at work. This is the first time I've had to force myself to do that. Nope, phone, do not disturb. Weekends, do not disturb. Don't check your email. Only check your email 1 time a day. And so it's been good because it's carried on to the rest of my life. I used to check email, what do I have to fix? What's going wrong? No, 1 time a day for everything else. That's not necessary. If you need me, you'll figure out a way to get to me. So yeah, guard your time.
Gotta protect it. Okay.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Same here.
My question is around how you manage your grief. Like when you find yourself having days that feel heavier than others, what do you typically turn to? And I know that grief shows up in so many different ways. Like some days it might come out as anger, some days it might actually come out as real sadness and tears. But is there something that you turn to, or like a practice that you like to put yourself in to make you feel better?
This would have sounded so crazy to me, even in the first years after my mom died. But I just make myself stop and breathe for a minute and really I usually stop breathing. For me, I say take 3 breaths. And this used to be me when I started. Okay, you did it, you don't feel better. But now it's really feel it. I got hairs in my nose, feel it, let it back out 3 times. And then, why are you feeling this? Did something trigger it? I used to be the queen of, don't have time for that feeling right now. Got to do something else. Just sitting there and I had it in the car as I was parking here, I don't know what's going to come up today. Whatever comes up, it's going to be okay. You are still alive. You still have breath. Nothing is going to kill you. And sometimes it's just as simple as that. Nothing is going to kill you. And here's something I do in the humor. Is your mom going to die, whatever you're going through today? No. But for grief specifically, I also got to say, find a good counselor, because I have the type of counselor, I'll shout her out. Black woman, queer Black woman, just be therapy. And some people are like, she got a Gmail address because she's so busy. All right. Don't let that. And her name is Barbara Herring. But I just send her email. She don't charge, just and sometimes just the act of doing that helps me get it out, and I'll forget about it and she'll bring it up in the next session. So it's because I think sometimes with my grief, because it's been 15 years, I get mad at myself for not being over it. And also, I'll be honest, when people reach out to me and tell me about their own struggles, for some reason that helps me. Yeah. It really, knowing that I put something out in the world that makes people feel less alone. And that helps a lot, because I feel like my whole process of grief is, am I still making my mom proud? And if I can say yes to that, I can feel okay. And so when people reach out to me and tell me I'm helping, I'm like, see, Mom, and it just absolutely fills my heart.
I love that. And thank you for mentioning therapy. I think that therapy is something that,
and don't
especially in the Black community.
Yes.
I know prayer goes a long way, but sometimes prayer is, sometimes therapy is the answered prayer that you need. And
really
I will say that as a generational
thing. And I'll also
thing.
say, don't give up if the first one you find isn't good. It's like any other relationship. Some therapists are just burnt out and doing it to get a check. Find one that you really resonate with. And I knew that I resonated with my therapist because I have a problem with feeling unseen a lot. And she would always show up 10 minutes late to our appointment. And I'm like, well, you just don't want to see me, And she said, no. She said, the things that I have to carry from other appointments, I don't want to carry them into ours. People are dealing with some heavy stuff. And I thought, but but also I'm not the only one. So it's like, try a few out.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Well, thank you for those questions. We do want to wrap so that you have enough time, if you have the book today, that you can have Angela sign it, take some pictures, do all the good stuff that you do. And we want to make sure that Rep Club can open properly.
Okay. I saw people showing up to work, right?
For their Sunday shift. I would be, well, one, I want to give it up for Angela. Can we give her a round of applause?
Thank y'all.
And two, I would be remiss not to say, if you are not signed up for Permission to Write's newsletter, please make sure that you sign up for that so that you can kind of stay abreast of all the different things that we're doing. And our next book for August is There's Only One Sin in Hollywood by Rashid Newson, who is also a TV writer and a novelist. The book is historical fiction. They have it here today. If you want to grab that to read and join us next month as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Ashley. Give it up for yourself. You are just wonderful and adorable.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. And I'll be hanging around too. So yeah, just thank you all for joining us. It's a good Sunday.
Where should I go? Just over here? Okay. Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Right now, with